Absolutely, dude. Thank you for your time. It's so nice to meet you. Dude, I mean, you are a singular vision out there in the wilds. You make wild stuff, man.
Yeah, I try not. Well, I try not to, but it just comes out. I can't
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Yeah, love your set
Do
of
you?
books,
Oh,
by the
thanks,
way.
bro. Yeah, dude.
Sorry, ADHD.
No, I know. No, it's well, no, literally I was just talking to this guy yesterday and he had a rack of books behind him and it turns out he's a rare book collector. He's an AI artist, but he's a rare
Yeah,
book collector, dude. Like as a
no
job and we
way.
just started going off on
Awesome.
that. And it's just wild the stories of the people I'm talking to that are into AI, how
Oh,
multifaceted they
for
are,
sure,
you know?
for sure. Especially the ones surfacing right now, and that's something that I mean, I'm not gonna say I predicted, but it was just an obvious thing that was gonna happen. It's like, okay, there are some people who are professionals who are good at what they do. They're storytellers, perhaps not filmmakers, but they have some sort of writing, art background, book collectors, and whatnot. They're just experienced storytellers. When they do feel comfortable enough to approach these tools, the work that we're gonna see is just gonna blow our minds. It's just gonna blow all these like AI tinkerers doing what they, AI slop, quote unquote. It's just gonna blow them out the water. And it's not about who's first anymore. It's about who's telling a really good story, something compelling. And there's so many avenues to choose from. You just got to pick your poison and just go. Go,
Dude.
go, go ham.
Oh man, there's so much I want to talk to you about. I love hearing that. What a man, people need to hear that because I feel that it's not a race, it's a long game. We're at the start,
Sure.
and I guess oh man, there's so much I want to ask you. I mean, I guess the first thing that came to mind was like I do feel that early wave of kind of like AI influencers and they're really on top of the tech and a little more like had more time to do these experiments. I feel like kind of like are I don't know about you. I feel make a little resistant to this next wave of you see people really pushing it and really like telling stories, wild stuff coming out. You're starting to see filmmakers embrace it, and I don't know. Uh, yeah, it's just an interesting time.
Yeah, I'm coming my way around it, and I think this is the places the evolution where we're heading towards anyways. I'm a fan of like Gary Vee. He's been preaching for the past 4, 5, 6 years. Everyone is going to be a media company.
Oh,
And we
really?
slowly started seeing that, right? He started saying this way before Apple had its Apple Studios. So Apple dropped
Really?
Severance, right? They dropped Ted Lasso. They dropped all these great shows. Netflix started doing the same. So this guy started saying that this is where everything is going. Big brands, small brands, medium-sized brands. It's not about making money just from the media. It's using the media as a funnel to your brand, your podcast, your products, your store, your brick and mortar store. That's that's where I see truly the power of using media. You do have, of course, because we're in a bubble. At least I'm in a bubble, and I try to get out of it every now and then. Um, I'm in the mix of technologists, people in advertising, people in the film industry, independent creators. I'm kind of a little bit there, swimming in the waters with all of them. And we can get tunnel vision sometimes, and we think, and we get married to our ways. But there's so many ways, going back to what I was saying, there's so many ways to kind of like chop the sausage. And success at the end, you're going to have to define what that means for you. Um, I always decided in my journey with these tools, like my background, for
Yeah.
those who don't know me, um, I'm a traditional filmmaker. I went to film school back in Miami, did a 4-year program at Miami-Dade College, which is our community college, um, and great program. You do practice all the disciplines. So I went from screenwriting, VFX to documentary, TV workshops, doing all. They just prepare you. It was a film school to prepare you not for the industry, but just overall get you out there to
Mm,
work. So, and it was super, super cheap to like, it was just crazy cheap.
right.
Um, so I've been a creative all my life, musician, 15, 20 plus years playing drums. Um, high school, used to be part of short films with my friends, did acting. Not an active actor now. I've been doing more of what I call uh, performance art, but
Like live performance art, like
well, now it's more like digital performance
right,
arts
right,
because
yeah,
so there's so many things. So I just want to give a little bit of context
yeah.
to people. So um, before getting into I was a full-time actor back in Miami. I moved from Miami 2 years ago, and now I live in upstate South Carolina and sort of like starting all over again. I have the industry still there at my disposal if I go to Atlanta and do the whole, you know, trying to get book game and stuff like that. But I decided, you know what, I just want to do my thing, build my own empire, not seek permission, because it's a grind. Being an actor, a filmmaker, a working actor, a working filmmaker is a grind. You have to be part of the bubble and always say yes to every single job to stay relevant and for people to know that you're there. So I wanted out. The pay was great, but I wanted it out because, again, at heart, I'm just a storyteller. And I knew immediately that no one is going to come and say, "Hey, Sway, here's a script," or "Hand us your script, make that movie that you want to do that you've always dreamed about." No one, absolutely no one was going to do that for me. No one was just going to say, "Hey, I saw you in that independent film. Come and be a secondary or lead actor." No one was going to do that. And it's not until you actually start bursting those bubbles and touching a little bit reality this wasn't a plan B move to like be independent. No, it's always been at heart. I've always been like a rebel and independent. Like back in film school, speaking of rebel, it was like I read Robert
Hell
Rodriguez,
yeah, yeah, man.
like
I gotta hear, yeah,
exactly. So it's like
yep.
I've always had that, like I just got to make it on my own. In life, I've been rejected so much. I've heard so many no's because of X reason, maybe how I look, maybe how I presented myself, so many reasons, and I try not to think about it. I was like, I just resulted like, no, I just got to do my own thing. And then that would gravitated me towards the tools, right? And I was like,
Mm.
oh, I could build my own thing, but the tools, I mean, I'm talking about 3, 4 years ago when AI just started. I saw the potential, but it wasn't ready, yet for what we're starting to see now, like people creating full-blown animation shorts and features and but I did get a little taste of 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 how disruptive this technology could be when back 2, 3 years ago, a friend of mine, Nem Paris, and we decided to executive produce the first AI feature film, our T2 remake, which was a reinterpretation of the film of T2 in parody form. So we took scenes from the movie and reinterpreted them using AI. Again, this was 3 years ago, so a lot of hallucination and wonkiness, and like a bunch of over close to 50 AI filmmakers reinterpreting these scenes and trying to be funny. And overall, I call it a success in my book because, again, it was an experimental project, and we really wanted to push the tech and see how far we can take it and how the normal audience would respond to it. And it's a good technical experiment, social experiment, and we got a bunch of hate, a bunch of love, and that seems to still be the thing today, right? You're damn if you use the tools, you're damn if you don't. If you're a tinkerer or a creative technologist, so you just gotta like lean on what makes you you at the end of the day, and what like really set your soul on fire, man. So I
Well,
know I'm just rambling now,
no,
so
it's great. No, that's
yeah,
perfect. I
yeah.
think that's really helpful for people to hear, especially a lot of the other AI creators. I'm curious, like, that's a great, like you say, like it's following what's, kind of your passion, your vision. I mean, I'm so curious. You have such a singular vision. Do you feel like you were leading up to your kind of style and your aesthetic like previously in like short films and stuff you did, or are you finding it through the tools? Like, how do you kind of think about, like your wild style, man?
You know, I think I'm at a place where I'm starting to see because of the feedback, right? The feedback from friends, fans, and followers. Um, I'm starting to see people catch on to my style. I mean, if I try to think about it, I really don't know what my style is, but I know that I gravitate towards I have leanings towards like humor, surrealism,
Yeah.
absurdity, and that sort of thing. And at the end of the day, when I'm working on something, there's a couple of check marks that I want to hit. One is is it saying something? Is it saying something? And not all the times my pieces, since they're so bite-sized, not all the times they do, because maybe the objective was to just test the tools. And that's why I categorize myself more like an experimental media artist, filmmaker versus the traditional one. Because I'm not spitting out trailers. I'm not spitting out fully fleshed 3 act structured films. I'm creating I'm creating like little vignettes and little stories and which have more of a like an advertising
Mm.
feel to them, more punchy, to the point, visual storytelling. One of the check marks again is like how much can I get away with without saying anything?
I
Which
love
is a
that.
great exercise for the
Yes.
filmmaker, right?
Yeah.
Try to show or rather than tell,
Yeah.
and that's a lot harder than what people think. I When I play with the tools, I see all the awesomeness and stuff that other people do. Like I see some guys that are just born to create epic visuals, right? That's not me. I'm not that guy. And I love all those things, like, as much as the other dude who loves like big blockbuster films, but I'm not that guy. I like very like singular, some most times linear stories to the point. It usually has some sort of performance base. Um, I tend to be very specific. I sculpt my shots and I'm thinking frame by frame and I'm watching my things like a mad man. I like obsess over the edit. Is it clear? Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Is it too choppy? Is it too jumpy? Does it say what I need to say? Still keeping in mind the experimental spirit. I have to iterate. These tools will evolve. Don't romanticize this concept. You're gonna move on and to the next thing. And again, we're all playing the social media game, so we can't sit an idea for too long. There are some ideas that you do want to sit and meditate and formulate and engineer. I'm not at the stage where I'm doing that because of the rapid pace and evolution of the technology. I can't sit down. And of course, my ADHD kind of contributes to that. But I can't sit down and just sit on an idea for like 3 months. I think the day will come, but
Yeah.
not now.
I want to add too that I think part of what I see is like your style is like it's just your playfulness coming through, and that's I think a common theme in people I'm talking to is like it's like you can and one thing that's really cool is you've like shared your process, you've shared your workflow, you share your prompts, and I think that's so cool because it speaks to like it isn't just about like an aesthetic or like the prompt. I mean, it's weird. I wonder if you can speak to this, like how the tools allow us to play in real time with visuals, which was never pre a possibility in the past because it required so much, pre-production. You need to get a crew. You need to plan it out. You need money. So it's like this
Yeah.
new. You can literally play and improvise with, and that's how you. That's how I that's what I'm seeing when I see your work, right? Or if you see another person who has like it's not just an aesthetic, it's not just like a prompt. It's like you're seeing the playfulness come through in all these different facets. Does that make
Yeah.
sense to you or
Oh, totally, totally,
yeah.
totally. I've gotten that a lot, and I see that, and it has to do with more with my personality more than
Yeah.
anything, which is might not be reflective, like in real life, my personality, at least of how I think and process and create. Um, one of the I'm in a position as a creator and micro influencer where where I can iterate and get access to these tools without considering cost. And I think that's important to highlight. And not a
Mm.
lot of people are talking about that.
Yeah.
Because if I'm telling you, yeah, all you have to do is iterate and explore, but you have the kid who's not sponsored by X company, I was like, what are you talking about, Sway? Like, I just ran out of credits. It's not what you're telling me. Um, so I need to consider myself fortunate in being that position, not relying on one, but many companies who, like you, believe in what I do, who see that my style could fit their, marketing strategies and stuff. So, because of that, I'm able to explore freely. And yes, the tools let you do that. And over time, I like to say for people who are coming at this for the first time, over time, there's something really cool about these tools is that sure, you'll spend a lot of time on YouTube trying to learn all the prompt engineerings and the workflows and stuff like that. And this is the reason why I like taking on these companies and sharing my workflows because I like to show that it's a lot simpler than what you think. It is not as complicated as a lot of people on YouTube put it out there. I personally don't come up with like super long listed prompts. And if I do, it's because AI is assisting me and it's based off of this very simple thing that I'm guiding it with, right? So when I start on something, I do start with somewhat of a preconceived vision of where I want to go. And if that's not happening, it's usually happening as I'm creating, iterating. So like if you were to picture me in the studio here, I have my AI tool in front of me and I have my editor next to me, and there's this back and forth dance between the two because with the editor, I'm able to zoom out and really see what I'm trying to go for where maybe I don't have the ending. Maybe 50% of the times I don't know how I'm going to end, but I know that I need to end on something. And if I do come up with an ending, is going to probably dictate how everything else plays out. So sometimes I start all over, or sometimes I don't end up going with the original idea. So the tools, the opportunities, the access to answer your question allows me to do that freely. And because I guess you would say spoiled or uh, just fortunate. I consider it fortunate. Um, I try to add a little bit of constraints from time to time, right? So that's where, what I said before, I try to add limits. I need to, I accept the fact that all this is experimental. This needs to ship on X day. So I'm adding all these like, I'm adding pressure on myself,
That's
and
cool.
that helps with the iteration as well.
Yeah. Well, I think it's cool that you feel gratitude. I mean, that's the key to everything. I will say though, I mean, you sound a little humble because there are people with way more credits than you that are making not as good stuff. So a lot of it comes down to your. But I'm curious. You said so. You literally have your editor open as your. Do you like? Are you literally you'll like generate something and then you like drag it into the timeline and like see how it fits? Like you're literally kind of like. eh,
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
that's cool.
one of the recent realizations because I've so right after film school, I just went to work. Right, I started working with a bunch of production companies, doing secondhand shooting, uh, doing a lot of post production, a lot of editing. It was just like the grind. And a lot of opportunities that I received in the time was doing a lot of like documentary corporate videos. So I was very familiar and just ingesting tons of footage and trying to figure out and
Oh
sculpt this
yeah.
story. So I take a little bit of that practice into obviously I have more control here because I am literally expecting a specific output from these tools because I'm asking for them. But you've probably heard this before, is it's a slot machine at the end of the day. You can be as specific as you want, but you're really never going to get that granular, specific shot that you're looking for. And whether it's credits or you're on a time constraint, you're eventually going to have to say, well, I'm going with these two selections and we'll see what fits in the story and how we can work around that. And it's not too different from like
No.
shooting traditionally with like film.
Exactly. No, it's the same.
right?
It's
It's like I
essentially the
only
same.
have
Yeah.
X hundred meters of like film roll. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna have to work with what I got, right?
I think this
Budget
is
and done.
so interesting, dude. I think people need to hear this more. It makes so much sense that you're an editor. You really need to learn editing to really make the most out of this because like you're saying, you get so much jankiness from the generations and you need to know what you can use and what you can, what you cut around, what the limits are, what you can use,
Yep.
what you might be able to slot in. So I think young people or new people who are new to this would do well to start learning editing, yeah, and
Oh,
get
for sure,
comfortable.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That will highly recommend learn editing. And you asked what I asked, what I have in front of you. One of the things that I also have in front of me is like I'm YouTube, Pinterest,
Hmm.
Google search, because that's where my inspiration comes from. Because like you asked style, but like a lot of my style comes from inspiration and what I'm
Totally.
ingesting myself. I'm not the type where I drag and drop pictures and say, hey, create something exactly like this. I'm a little bit more old school where I try to like dissect it and try to really see, right? When you're learning how to draw, your objective is sure learn technique, but also learn how to see, right? So when you go outside and paint and start drawing a tree, you start looking at details that you have never ever noticed, in your day-to-day experience. You start seeing things, right? The same thing when you watch a film or when you're trying to break down a single frame into layers, right? If you watch Akira Kurosawa films, right? And you just, every frame is a painting, right?
Yeah.
If you just stop and you just analyze what's going on in the foreground, in the midground, in the background, what's going on here texturally, color-wise, if it's not a black and white, and if you're thinking about character, blocking, art direction, everything, lighting, the pacing of the edit, you learn a lot, right? And you do that over and over and over. Eventually, that'll transfer over to your work. That's
Yeah.
the hope.
Do you feel like you apply that same? I totally agree. Do you apply that same sense when you're going through Pinterest or like where you're a little more like in like intentional, or is it more in your bones as you're saying? Because I know for me when I'm going through Pinterest, it's just like I'm drawn to what I'm drawn to and like collecting or putting in a folder. I'm not really like breaking it down like maybe when you first start watching cinema, like you're saying, and you're noticing the light on a face or how it's the composition. Like, is it more for you now, just kind of in your bones, and you're just like, I know this is what I'm drawn to. This is, or do you, or are you still kind of thinking ways you go through Pinterest and
I think is a little bit of everything,
mm,
right? Because like you don't know what you're gonna discover until you're looking for something, and then you end up in a rabbit hole. I mean, Pinterest is really good at that,
for
right? It's
sure,
like think
yeah,
of YouTube, but just you're like
yeah,
it's images, right? You're just going down the rabbit hole, and before you know it, I was like, wait, I started with this guy, and now I'm here watching seeing some other thing that I'm inspired by. So I'm obviously collecting, um, adding stuff in boards. So like. And in a way, if I were to relate this to someone who's not doing this and started this journey using like Mid-Journey, think like mood boards, right? You're collecting mood boards and you're trying to extract a style synthetically through AI. I'm trying to do that, but like at the same time train myself as an artist and try to force myself to see something that I haven't. And if I don't understand, I'm often watching like short documentaries or like someone making commentary on X artist and painter, etc., to like pick up on not only as a respect to the art, but also to as a respect for myself as an artist, because that's part of my investment, right? And my art language is my visual language grows even more. Um, and yeah, it's again, to answer your question, it's just a mix of everything. I'm creating my own boards, and I'm like not 100% committed to them. I guess it's a nice thing to know that I'm saving and being organized and really investing in my learning. But it in reality, it's more like what can I just input, then get to work
hmm
and probably never ever go back to it.
yeah.
So. it could be sloppy too, messy and chaotic, and that's
Yeah,
all part of the process.
that's cool, man. Um, I uh, so I have a question about like your like you're saying you have this vision of kind of like your own media empire, which is so sick. Um, I'm curious how you see going forward. Like, do you see yourself working with like brands and clients and executing like their vision, or is it like you bring your aesthetic and style and for the right client, or are you all in on just your own thing? Like, how do you kind of see it moving forward? Because I ask because it's like, as you know, it's so powerful, and I see it more and more. You know, they're like job openings, and people need like AI directors, but it's like it almost defeats the purpose because this is so powerful that if you have a vision, it doesn't make sense. If you have, you know, it doesn't make sense to go make stuff for someone else. It's like we might as well, you know, get a job like to just pay the bill. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like that's
I know exactly what you're saying, dude, because
it's like
that's sort of the predicament that I was a couple of weeks ago. I consider my project, my concept studio and experimental brand Absurd an experiment, and it's evolving. And there are things that I'm literally writing about that right now from the newsletter. There are things that I do wrong and I have to correct because it wasn't the right vision, the right thing to do for the brand. So you ask, am I going to collaborate with other companies? Am I going to offer my creative services? Short answer, no. I'm not doing that with this brand. This is like my thing. Um, and is there future strategic collaborations that I want to do with artists? Yeah, eventually, right? But I'm still building the foundation. I'm trying to figure out what this thing really is. And it's not till recently where I landed like, oh, this is actually more than just a creative arm of my absurdity. This is actually a concept studio, and I can build on top of that. This is an experimental retail. I'm getting into commerce. Oh, the commerce could actually be the leading product and not
mm,
the going full circle with what I was saying in the beginning. The commerce, the apparel could be the leading product and
whoa.
not the media. Okay, so now every piece of media that I put out promotes the brand and the apparel and adds significance to the tied in belief to the apparel because I'm not gonna mass produce. I'm not. I don't want to fill my background with like supply. No, I'm going for a premium thing. I'm going for low volume, high margin. Okay, now I got to give it that quality, not only texturally but also philosophically. And then brand comes into place, and then I'm thinking about brand awareness, and then pushing and really believing and like promoting and being very repetitive with what this brand stands for. So to put it simply, if you look at Nike, Nike represents something, right? It's more than just a logo, it's a brand. And a brand makes you feel something, right? That's what I'm trying to go for with Absurd. I'm trying to make you feel something. I want you to identify it. When you wear it, you know what you're part of, right? And the work that I do is the proof of the belief, which is to escape the ordinary. You have to own the nonsense, which is just another way of me saying be the most unapologetic version of yourself. Lean into the strange, lean into the weird, do your thing. Now, does that mean that I'm not going to offer my creative services? That I'm not going to collaborate with someone else? Well, if I'm desperate for money, yes. Right? Like, yes, the tools allow you to do your own thing and build your empire. But again, reality. Can you survive? Because there's no point if you're starving and
Yeah.
and trying to build a company and try to be an artist at the same time because then you're not flourishing. You're not being 100% you. Like why do I want works out there where I'm just a frustrated artist all the time? So there's a lot of homework that you need to do when you want to build something like what I'm building, which still is in its early, premature stages. Um, and there's other people that go a different route.
Of course.
There's people who actually want to build an AI production company and form relationships with agencies, or
No,
go
dude, I get
more
it. I get it. I see
B2C,
it.
B2B,
Bro,
you know,
you're
and
gonna be
they're not
massive.
wrong.
It's so exciting, dude. Dude, you are. I see it. I see
Yeah,
the vision now. I
I
didn't get
appreciate
it
it.
quite. I see it like, and that's not. I never. You have more. I see it in that world of kind of like the kind of street culture, like Shepherd
Yeah.
Fairey, like artists, virality, like the sneaker culture, and which I'm not. I don't know a ton about, but I see you. But then you're adding this new. It's like the 3D version, man. It's like the whole new world coming from that
Right.
arena, right? But it's like a new, but it's like you're saying, it's this bigger dimensional thing that's gonna feed on each other, and that's so sick, dude.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
exciting,
Yeah,
man.
dude. Well, you mentioned Shepherd Fairey. I was and kind of to tie it all together. Um, I went to the Shepherd Fairey event at the Beeple Studios, which is not too
Oh,
far from
sick.
me.
Oh, cool.
Saw him there. So it was amazing just seeing all his work there. That was super inspiring for me.
Of course.
But there's this great recent Beeple post. I think he posted like 2, 3 days ago where he touches on was like, should I create to make money,
Hmm.
or should I create to create just to feel like an artist? He suggests, it's like do the damn job that you hate, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like feed yourself, put food
Yeah.
on the table,
Yeah.
give yourself the freedom to create. There's some people who are gonna have to do that. There's some people who are gonna have to like, build the studios and build the brands. Like I can't tell you what to do. You have to go
Of
with your
course.
gut instinct because at the end of the day, on your deathbed, you're gonna have to accept, whatever risk you ended up taking for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Oh my God. Well, okay. I am so you're the right guy to talk to you talk about this because I've had this thing brewing in my mind about brand, like logos and identity. And now that we're entering this era of like very, very quick iteration of like logo style aesthetic, and given also that very soon we're going to have like robots that can build stuff really quick, like if you want to build a
Hmm.
sign, right, we're going to be able to build stuff faster. So I was thinking about like something like McDonald's, like how you see people posting like here's what you lost, like a McDonald's from the like 90s, right, with like some sick
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
small
yeah.
town McDonald's. They have the playground out back. It's like amazing
Hmm.
crafted fucking like
Yeah,
fantasy,
that's
and it's
mass
like,
production.
and now, bro, it's like these gray boxes and it's just like automated slop, and it's just so sad. But it makes me think like, what if you reversed it? It seems like AI and AI production could, this is an optimistic route, could bring back local culture and local aesthetic, and worldwide brands could adapt. Like we all know what McDonald's is. You don't need to, like, you could even change the M a little bit to fit, like if you're in like Savannah, Georgia, or if you're in like Minneapolis, like, and you know what I mean? Like, do you think that's possible? Do you think there's a world where brands would actually like, given that like novelty now is going to be more, um it's easier to do, like, does that make sense? Like you could have a different McDonald's logo on your site every day. Like like I know it seems obvious that you would say, well, then you just stick to like one thing so people can recognize it, but it isn't as interesting maybe if, I don't know. Does any of this like ring any bells, or does this just like set anything
Um,
off, or
well, I think now with AI, I think there's a correction. There's a correction happening, right? And we're all realizing everyone who's anti-AI now, I think they're putting their energies towards the wrong place, right? Obviously, some do have some valid arguments and things that we need to correct and fix
for
and to
sure?
ensure the human flourishing and all that stuff that we need to solve for. But also because of I appreciate that we're all gravitating and looking back and seeing how great we had, how great life was before iPhone 1, right? How great parties were, how great events were, how great going to McDonald's was, how colorful the stores were, the restaurants were, the cars were, right? and seeing and really zooming out and seeing like how we all fell victims to like mass production and
The
this
globalization, this
the
like
globalization and
yeah, yeah.
that side of capitalism that is not so pretty, right? Because we all want, and we all bought into that lie. Um, I think there's a correction happening, and this is where a lot of small business individuals, people like you or me, will find the opportunity to find our tribes and being able to give them, something more with a human touch, right? Which I like to make clear that Absurd, my brand, it's not an AI studio. I mean, I use AI for the media, but
Yep.
it's not going to be solely that. I'm a filmmaker. I'm going to eventually pick up my camera, do vlogs, and do, traditional films. And like the shirt that I'm wearing here, this is like an Illustrator design. It's like I took this to Illustrator. The logo is not AI. It's like I have my iPad where I drew it, and
Yes.
so I try not to fool myself, right? And know that the world needs that the human touch, right? And that can't be lost. In the world of automation is great. I was just talking to someone right now on X on agentic workflows
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
all right, so
But
so I
but
was
but
like,
keep going. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, no, I love all of that. I love the automation. It's great. I love that I to know that some things can be working in the background, but not to give me an excuse every single time to work even more in front of the screen, but to allow me
Yes.
to escape, be with the family, attend to other things, more physical related things to the business, really get in touch with my local community and be human. So I think there's an opportunity for that. And those who are gun ho 100% just full AI, please consider can I host my a series of films in an art house, an independent cinema? Can
Oh
I do
yeah.
an event? You don't have to teach AI and teach workflows. Like you just want to go chill with a bunch of creators and people who just want to be, entertained by the stories. Can you twist the narrative where you can make AI inviting but also human? And I think that the people who know how to do that and really well are really going to win and elevate in their personal brand and whatever other brands they're running, man. Because that's really the win right there, and where it adds just layers, man. I mean, it's cool to know that thousands, millions of people watch my stuff, but it's also cool, even more cool to know, it's like, damn, I know 100 people who personally, I've interacted with that appreciate my work. That's just another level,
For
you
sure.
know, so
Yeah, that's such a good point. Is like at the end of the day, I mean, people are gonna eventually in 6 months. Like I hope that the whole AI thing at the beginning just goes away, and it's like you're an artist, you're an entrepreneur, and that's it. And you use different tools to achieve your ultimate goals, and that's it. Like these are tools, and the tools evolve, and that's what all technological artists have done. I mean, from painting, photography, it's always been like technology and the way, and then the way a given artist applies their creativity to that tool, and it will come out different in every single artist because everyone has different references and
yeah.
goals. And yeah, man. Um, yeah. Will you? I just saw you post about agentic workflows, and I'm curious, like your experience and how you see that being useful for your process, like how you, and also like I guess maybe how you see it evolving too. Like, are we just going to be telling agents what we want soon, and then it does it?
I think that dream that we had of what Siri could do for
Yeah,
us,
yeah,
you know, is actually going to happen with these tools, right? Where it's going to be your assistant. At least that's where I draw the line. It's just going to be my assistant. It's going to be able to do things for me, not everything for me. I don't obsess, and I'm not a fan over those workflows that are producing 50 to 100 UGC avatars. Like, that's
right.
that's not me. It was like, oh, let's create avatars to sell a product or drink. I'm like, still uncanny, still doesn't feel human. That's not me. Um, and I'm a realist. I know that some of the stuff that I create, it could be repellent to some and could be a turn off, and that's fine. I accept that, you know. Um, so with these agentic workflows, I do appreciate. I would like to. So for example, just to give you one of my goals, hopefully sometime soon, like I want to create content beyond the stuff that I'm doing now, um, without losing not the humanity, but also I don't want to be producing fall victim to the very same thing that I hate, right? So we talked about how mass production created all these like neutral items and products. I don't want my products to be that because of these agentic workflows. You know, I still want the human touch. I still want to create a direct. I still want to have the final say,
Yeah.
right? And I just don't want to rely on the thing to be like a complete now automated slot machine. I don't want that.
100%.
Um, I do want it to help me, for example, if I'm working on a creative experimental video, but I also need to do that YouTube channel of where I recorded myself vlog style and I have all these B-roll and A-rolls that, hey, take care of this. This is very like low priority, but still important for the community because I'm informing them and educating them on X, right? Doesn't have to be flashy, it could be straight to the point. Um, and I know where I draw the line aesthetically, creatively.
Yeah.
Is it going to be for everyone? No, because some people, some vloggers, some YouTubers rely on a specific aesthetic, a specific style, a specific way of delivering material that perhaps an agent, an agentic workflow can't solve for. That might still need an editor to add those
Of course.
jump
Yeah.
cuts and like effects and stuff like that. Um, I'm just looking to streamline my workflows and just being able to, can I do a little bit more and
Yeah.
worry a little bit less and not overwork myself? And if I can, if I could double or triple my production, I'm a happy man, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm doing the same thing, and it's like at the end of the day, you are the one that is determining if the quality is up to your standard. So it's like it doesn't matter
Right.
how many freaking agents you use. Like we trust you as the final arbiter of like what works for your
Right.
vision. So it's like it's kind of like nobody's business, honestly. Like how you figure out how you're gonna make what you want to make. You know?
Well, that's where
Uh,
craft comes in, right? It's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
would people tell?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No.
If you especially if you're using real footage, right? So like what if you can get an agent to take care of what we're doing right now?
Yeah.
Like where they could just grab this interview and do a cut
Fucking
to your
sick, dude. I
satisfaction.
would love that. Clip it. I'm like,
You know,
please.
and it just gives you a summary like, hey Paul, I just did this edit for you. Here are the notes and blah blah blah. Is there anything that I need to adjust or change? Oh yeah, make sure you don't miss this, blah blah blah. Remove any curse words, blah blah blah. Any mentions of
Yeah.
sensitive, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna go back to it.
Yeah. Amazing.
And
Yeah.
all you have to do
Yeah.
is show up on a Friday and do little minimal edits, and
Yeah.
you're done for the day. You get to enjoy the fam on the
Yeah.
weekend. So that's
Yeah.
that's the kind of life that I'm looking for.
Hell yeah. I love that. Hmm. Do you maybe this might be maybe a good way to start wrapping it up? Like it brings me back to something you mentioned about being an actor and the grind of an actor, right? And having to say yes and just be part of the grind to keep your fucking name in the game.
Yeah.
But I do see parallels on X and like social media where you gotta like play the algorithm and grind and like keep
Well, of course.
consistent. So yeah, sorry, go ahead. If
No, no, no.
you,
I'm listening. I'm listening. Yeah.
so I mean, it's I'm like finding myself like and I was gonna say like my ultimate goal, dude, is to make feature films. That's I don't care if like people say it's dead. I don't care. Like that is in my heart. That's what I know I have to do. I have scripts I want to make. So I'm kind of like, well, given that goal, I need to start making longer form stuff, right? Like I need to just start preparing for when that moment comes. And it's like, but in order to keep your head, above water, you gotta kind of play the algorithm a little bit and So how do you think about that? Like the
It
grind,
is
the dance.
yeah. Yeah, you have to the way that I process that is I have everyone responds differently to stress and pressures and in social media. Some people who are ambitious as you and me probably have similar goals, maybe don't have the tolerance to be online as much as us, right? Because of X reason, addiction, and I'm just throwing random things, right? It was like spending way too much time watching booty videos. I have to disconnect and sit and write my script. There's the reality, right? There's people like that who like, no, because my family keeps reaching out to me and it's just a distraction. So you really have to reverse engineer. I want to get to X place. I want to create
Yeah.
my first feature film, my second, or my first AI film or hybrid film, whatever. Reverse engineer, what does it take to get there? What's the roadmap, right? What the roadmap is not, I think, is I have to do a bunch of long form content, you know, to create this bigger long form content. And I could be wrong, and I probably am. But I
No, I don't know.
think there needs to be a strategy behind that, right?
Yeah.
One simple strategy is create one piece of long form content once a week,
Yeah.
have an agentic workflow, create bite size, gives me the time, gives me 4 hours in a day to work on my script. I'm gonna do this for the next 6 months because the second next 6 months, I'm gonna start casting, looking for people, think about budgets, reaching out to people, figure out how I'm gonna get this thing made. That's gonna be in production in 2 years from now. Right? So if like you don't have that sort of plan and roadmap, and it's not that the roadmap is going to be the thing that will take you there, but it gives you a little bit of structure and vision, right? Um, I'm doing that, and I'm constantly making adjustments because this looks great on paper, but it doesn't fit my style, right? I got this strategy, this roadmap from Sway, but it doesn't fit how I process, how I think, my ADHD, my circumstances, financial circumstances. Though my kid is sick, I'm recently divorced. Everyone's situation is different. So take the roadmap and just make it fit you. In a world of social media, I mean, this is sort of like the pill that we have to swallow. We are living in that attention economy, right? I think it's just the key is, and this is why I just take the experimental media with pride, is that don't be precious. And also, tip my hat to those creators are just like iterating, putting out there, knowing that there's imperfections in the film, but they
Yeah.
want to get their message across. They set the
Yeah.
vision and they're building in a way, they're building in public and telling the world, hey guys, I'm creating these shorts, but in
Yeah.
2 years, in a year, I want to make a film
Yeah.
and I want to take you in this journey and I
Yeah.
want you to come along with me. Come, this is my potential. This is how I'm thinking. I invite you to my world. There are some people, and this is something that I battle with. There are some people that are a bit precious who are saying, I don't want to tell the world who I am, how I think. I don't want to teach them workflows. I don't want to do tutorials. I don't want to do a podcast. I want to write the film, make the film. Like, well, boo hoo hoo. The world doesn't work that way,
Yeah, you're
you know,
right. It's a new
especially with
world.
social
Yeah.
media.
Yeah, of course.
So,
I mean, and it's
you know,
only going to get more. You look at streamers, you look at it like that are on, they're the new, actors. And it's like if the new directors and like creators there's going to be a performance element. There's going to be you're thinking on the spot and improvising for people watching. It's all kind of
dude, look at
converging.
Vine. Who would have thought that Vine would have spit out a bunch of like
Totally.
actors, creators, directors,
Yeah.
6 second videos? Seriously?
Yeah.
And we're all here flexing. Check out my 6 minute film, my
Right,
20
right,
minute film
right.
that took me X amount of days. Like, dude, it's not about the time.
No. It's not about
It's
the
beyond
container.
that.
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
about
I
that,
mean, you
dude. Because
posted
that's
something where I commented. It was like, I don't know how long it was, if it was like 10 or 15, but I'm like, fuck, dude. And there was no dialogue. And you told a story, and it was abstract, too. It was like, your stuff is psychedelic, but it's still, I mean, I'm impressed, man. I don't want to blow smoke
oh,
up your
thank you,
ass, but I
man.
mean, you do have a command of like, like commercial instincts, like fine art instincts. I mean, you just like you're ready to fucking go, bro. It's exciting to see, and
Well,
it's nice to talk
it,
to you. It's
it,
so exciting.
appreciate it, man. Well,
Yeah,
you have to balance the work with the research. And again,
totally.
I'm impressed by the stuff that you have back there. I'm looking at film noir and aliens. It's like James Cameron. I was like, I obsess over all of that,
Totally,
like
of
as much
course.
as I'm creating, I'm also like watching like an old man watching a bunch of black and white films and
Hell
watching
yeah.
commentaries. I was like, I was watching, you have a Kubrick in the background. Yesterday I
Mm.
was watching Stephen King has his own version of The Shining, which is like a 4 hour uh it's like four episodes pieced together. It's like 4 hours. It's on Tubi and stuff. And I'm
Oh,
watching
cool.
that. Like, what's his take? What was he thinking? What's his interpretation of his own book? Um, so you
Sweet.
got to do the homework, right?
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you want to be a feature filmmaker, well, like start thinking like one,
yeah.
right? Like you're gonna have to not only name drop for name dropping's sake, but more out of respect. I like aliens because I James Cameron, he's Wes Anderson, his style. And I remember this time I went on 3 months just looking at his art production and like back it up.
Yeah,
It'll show in your work when you do. Like you won't even have to try.
yeah.
I see a lot of people like, oh, I just want to do something like Wes Anderson. Why? Because you saw it and it was cute. It
Mm.
was like you have to take the hat of a visual storyteller and like do the homework. This is no different than AI aside. This is no different than trying to be an architect, a graphic
Yeah.
designer, a musician, a singer, a lyricist, whatever. You have to do the homework. And with that said, I want to end with this where it's like this is a really good opportunity to reinvent yourself and do things differently. And I know there are formats and there are proven methods that people are doing, and I mentioned roadmaps and stuff like that. But we're all locked in these set of ways where I have to do a 90-minute film. I have to do
Mm.
something before I turn 30, 40, 50. You don't have to nothing. It was like all this film tech is still new. It's like less than 100 something years old.
Yeah, yeah.
This will continue evolving and reinvented, and like theaters right now are suffering. They're trying to reinvent themselves, and you're worried still. I got to put my short film out there and be known, and this
Yeah.
is my calling card. Like, dude,
Holy
those days are
shit.
gone, man.
Holy shit, dude. Sway
So,
Molina dropping some fucking gold fire here, folks.
this is it's just me like talking to myself in front of the
I
mirror,
know. Yeah,
right?
I love it.
Like,
I love it. I see the
so
Gary V coming out too, which is great, man. That's awesome.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love
it's a
it.
little
I
bit of
love
that
it. I
as well.
love it. That's amazing. Yeah, no, I mean, you just inspired me. You're right, man. It's like, what a, obsessing over like some like arbitrary number of minutes, which is just like this kind of archaic thing that came out of the circumstances of the history. But it's like, we're moving forward, man. It's like, what serves the idea best? What container? And you're doing that. You're like, well, what serves this idea? Maybe it's a t-shirt. What serves this idea? Maybe it's a video. Maybe
Right.
it's this. It's like, that's part of the creativity and also the wisdom, right, of the artist and experience, knowing where to fit an idea and where to place it, what format serves it best.
Yeah, dude. Agree.
Whoa.
And just if I were at the end of the day, if I were to never end up, making my own, if this brand never blows up, if I never get to make my own feature film or experimental film or whatever, at the end, it's like I just want to know that I branded myself in a way where when you hear my name or read my name, it stood for something, right? Just like those books behind you, and I keep referencing the books because I think it's amazing. Those books behind you, when you read it, aliens, oh, that stands for all that is branding. All that's branding. All that evokes a feeling, right? Childhood, aesthetics, blah, blah, blah. Art rock. Immediately think of Ronnie Dio. I went down a
Oh
Ronnie
yeah.
Dio rabbit hole. I
Oh
love
hell
the
yeah.
dude.
Oh, Dio rules. It's so yeah.
Love the dude.
Yep.
And yeah, it's like you are a product of all those things. And hopefully, when someone says like Paul, I know what he stands for,
Yeah.
and they might not remember your film or anything like that, but they know what drove you. So that's the goal, man, and that's really the thing that wakes you that gets you excited every day to wake up every day. It's like, all right, the grind, let's go, and you're not stressed out because X of you have to hit X metrics. You have to get to X place by the X time, and let
That's
go.
beautiful. That's
Just do,
beautiful.
man.
That is beautiful, man. What wise words to end on. Sway
Yeah.
Molina, one of a kind. Uh, Amazing, man. Amazing. Thank you for your time and for
Appreciate it,
sharing
man.
your perspective, dude. Yeah,
No, I appreciate this call. Thanks for inviting me.
absolutely, man. Well, yeah. Talk to you later, bro.
All right, cool, dude. Have a good rest of the weekend.
Thanks, man. You too.
Peace. And hit me up
Peace.
when this thing goes
I
live.
will. Yeah, I'll hit you up
All right.
for sure.
All right.
All right,
Later,
later,
man.
dude.